Now what?
That's it. That's all. No, there you go. That's why don't we just take a few moments since we've already started the sage and cleansing process of releasing, just the tuning in and getting present. How's that?
Sure.
How do you know when you're not present?
What was that? I wasn't listening.
I think, how do you know when you're not present? Besides, which Joan did a perfect one, right? Like in that sense, but like, you know, we say let's get present, but how do we know we weren't present before we were present?
Yeah, I don't think you ever really know. I think we're either in presence or we're in denial, and the denial is so good you think you're in presence. So
So we're
I
getting.
don't think anyone would consciously not know that they're not present. I do catch myself sometimes kind of stumbling around and then realizing like I'm not kind of focused properly, but most people on the planet are just they think they're present all the time.
I pinch myself.
That would work.
You said most people think they're present all the time?
The average person who's really not looking to be spiritual or anything like that, yeah, they think they're present all the time. If you ask them, I think they would say yes.
Yeah, they believe, and they also believe they can multitask, which is hysterical.
You can't multitask.
No.
Isn't that supposed to be a defining feature of women, that we can multitask?
Yeah. That's a nice buzzword we throw around.
You
Then
know?
why are we so tired? Hmm?
What was that, Danny?
So why are we so tired if we don't multitask? I always feel like I gotta cut myself in four to be there, and there. Maybe it's just a feeling, you know. Maybe it's just an impression we multitask.
Well, we can do several things, not at once, but split seconds between them. But you can only do one thing at a time.
Okay, so I am breathing, and at the same time I'm breathing, my heart's beating and little neurons are firing in my body and blah 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 blah, so I'm told. Isn't that multitasking?
No, because we don't have, you have to take conscious control of the autonomic nervous system. So you can slow your breathing down, but it just happens without thought. It's on autopilot.
Yeah, so aren't a lot of people on autopilot in their life like that? So
they're very aware in their autopilot.
Yeah.
If you break it down, like if to actually multitask, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this and then this and then this and then this, but you're still only ever doing one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Ever. And like we can for sure break it down and like, sure, I'm breathing, I'm thinking, and I'm talking. That's all at the same time. But like that stuff that's on a conscious level, and you can do several things that from the outside looking in look like you're all over the place, but you're still just doing one thing at a time. You're just doing them very quickly, very quickly, very quickly, very quickly. Like as a contractor, we get good at that because you walk up and you talk to the plumber, you talk to the electrician, you talk to the painter, you call this guy, and whatever, you jump around and it looks like multitasking, but it's only one thing at a time ever.
That's what I was going to say. I used to drive with my knee with a notepad before the phone there and Bluetooth. The phone here, take notes, drive with my knee, and as a general contractor, take notes, drive, and do all that at the same time. I thought I was doing that multitasking. So I guess I
Well,
gotta
it
find
is,
another.
but for
Maybe I
one
gotta
second
find
you're looking
another
at the
option.
notebook. For 1 second you're listening, and 1 second you're looking at the road, and then 1 second you're looking at the notebook. 1 second you're looking at this. So you're still only doing one at a time, but just in rapid succession, like it's going around a very fast circle.
So where we think we're micro managing everything, it's just we're present in the moment in very short, very fast intervals.
Yes.
Yeah.
We burst our work out, No?
Jacqueline is
The thoughts say it all on your face, Jacqueline.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I'm being with that.
Hmm?
Because it's like there's multiple sensations at once. Like there's different things I feel I'm experiencing sometimes in one moment. Like it's like can be a thought that arrives and a sensation in my stomach, and you're saying it goes boom 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 boom. It's like so quick that my perception is that they're happening at the same time, but they're still happening so quickly I can't differentiate.
Exactly.
And
The conscious and the subconscious part.
and what evidence do you have to say that?
I don't have any.
So it's just your
I have
opinion.
no scientific data.
It's
no
just
paperwork.
speculation.
That's the theory as I know it today, and that could be different tomorrow.
Yeah, because I feel like there's multiple dimensions that are happening right now. Like many people seem to be on a completely different timeline or a parallel universe, if you want to call it. Like they're just in a whole other realm of something, like quite foreign to me, yet it's very much their reality.
Oh, for sure. Everyone that thinks Trudeau's doing a great job, I don't understand it.
Please don't embark in politics, okay?
Okay, that's as far as I'm going.
Yes.
Right? So it's in that concept of it's all our perception. And so is multitasking, or the concept of multitasking, and an idea that keeps people from being present?
It can be.
And if so, is that so-called detrimental? Because do we really ever know when we're present?
And does it really matter?
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy with what you're doing, it doesn't really matter. I think it's when you start dwelling on I should be's and I can'ts and it's not, then that's when you're really kind of stepping away from being in the present moment and the present feeling of anything. And if it makes you, if you're enjoying it and you feel happiness and joy and whatever in the moment, whether you think you're experiencing multitasking or not, it doesn't matter. It's just what you're feeling in the moment. I feel, for me, that's my perspective.
Yeah, I like that. I would think it's a personal vision of oneself at the moment you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no right or wrong about that. Maybe if I felt I was multitasking and tired at the end of the day, maybe that was what I was feeling. Maybe another person would think that there's doing one thing at the time, or so. I think it's for everyone can choose his own shoes. So is it relevant to our spiritual being, the way we feel about doing many things at once? Does it change anything in our life besides our own perception of it? I don't think so. Do we need to be validated by other people, or being seen at people that very busy or do multitasking? Joanne, you're going sideways.
Her internet is acting up again, probably.
Okay.
She's multitasking.
Yeah, exactly.
she's listening to us and she's trying to get back on, so she's weird. Well, I think that's like breaking down for me is breaking down these concepts or these labels that we do have, that whether we inherited them or society gave them to us, or it's just like the in thing to say now, and people just start to repeat everything that they're being told. And like, is it true? Like as we were just saying, so is multitasking really something that we're doing, or are we doing things rapidly in succession? You know, that raises a good question. In that process, I think this is just like a little teeny thing that we're talking about, but that's the idea of so many things in our life that we just assume we're doing that maybe we're not.
Well, that's the ongoing every day of what we think we're doing and what we're actually doing, and does it fulfill us or does it not fulfill
I have
us?
to take that.
With that. You know, like when we say, like Tanya was saying, like if it makes you happy, and I think that terms and definitions of happiness is really only defined inside ourselves, and it's not really a broad perspective of that, you know, because someone else looking in would be thinking, well, God, you're not happy, and you're thinking inside yourself going, I'm pretty happy. Like my wife always makes fun of me because there's not a whole lot of pictures where I have this great big smile, and for me, I don't ever have a great big smile. I have this little grin and I'm pretty happy, you know, and I'll laugh sometimes and carry on, but like I'm just like that. It's like I don't have to, it's not like I'm putting on a show so other people know that I'm happy. I just need to know that. So
I think we spend a lot of time trying to put words to things that have no, there are not enough words to explain what you feel anyway. And they're so varied, like you said, from each person, that it kind of does come back to a little bit like, what does it matter again? It's what it's what you feel. There's not enough words for some emotions and experiences, that it's just like, what's the point? Just, you know, trying to find the words for it takes you out of being present to what you're feeling anyway. I feel, to some degree, not everything, but you know.
Joan's heard this before. It's like you might think it makes you happy. You might really believe that. You might have a few friends that agree with you, and you might have a million other people on the planet that agree with you, but it still doesn't make it the truth.
That's right.
It's just what you decided it is in that minute. And it could have very, very little or even nothing to do with what truth is. You know, because what is the truth? If you're not on a spiritual quest, what is truth? You know, if you're on a spiritual quest and you're trying to be a spiritual person, truth, you know, what is it? What is it? Is it just something we conjure in our minds and decide to say, well, here's the facts of my truth? And the term even saying what my truth is, I find that kind of hilarious, because people say, well, I'm just expressing my truth. And it's like, well, if your truth has, if you're expressing your truth and your truth is infringing on what I think my truth is, then I'm thinking what you're thinking isn't true. So, and it's a vicious dance. That whole, you can get stuck in that dance, you know, and that happens often with people when they get stuck in that dance. And for me, I used to get very stuck in that dance because I thought I was chasing truth and I thought I knew some truth. And now it's just, I look at it and it's like, you know, I've said this for years, and Joan's heard this for many times. It's like, you'll never meet someone more happy to know that I was wrong about something than me. Like I'll think of something, I'll think, oh, I just hope that's not true. If it ends up being true, so what? And if it isn't, great. But just you can't be attached to it. Even though we went over this a couple weeks ago, where you still got to get up every day, and whatever you think, you got to get up, kind of believe it's true, else you would have not much to formulate your day and your sentences with. And you get up and you just start your day with whatever you know, but just always be ready to learn, always be ready to know something new. Even if it's just a little bit of change of your direction or whatever, you have to be always ready for that.
So is it true that we don't know, mostly, that we don't know?
Yes.
And that's really all we can be certain of, is that we don't know?
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So it's then what we want to call the stories we tell ourselves, the perception of what we're viewing, our habits, our patterns that are helping us to formulate our perception in that moment, that seem to be our experience. And then it can be down the road where we go, oh, that was a different experience now that I look back, right? Like, oh, now I know why that happened. Like we've said that many times. And then 5 years go by and you go, now I know why that happened. So your perspective is changing. Sometimes the more you let go of what you think you know, because you're ready to embrace what you don't know.
For me, the only truth oneself can have is that your connection with the divine or the creator. I think anybody would be a fool to say that they know the truth. The truth about what? About life, where we start, where we end. We can do that very simple. We did with Patrick, and Patrick used it now. You make a circle of people, you put a little bit of sand in the middle, and you put the feather. You ask everybody through the meeting to look at the feather, and depending where you're sitting, everybody's going to have a different view of the feather. Some's going to see it brown, some's going to see it white, some's going to see it flat. So, but everybody has their own truth. But everybody's saying the same thing. That's why I like so much that simple exercise when we meet group, because everybody spend like an hour in the meeting looking at the same feathers, but you ask anybody, okay, the vision of what they saw, okay, on that feather, okay, and if you would take a crayon and make a board or drawing, you would see like there's 50 people, you're going to see 50 different feathers. But everybody has the same truth. So who in that 50 of the group can claim he has the ultimate truth? Nobody. Because the truth belongs to you. It don't belong to nobody else. My truth is mine. We're 5 people here, 5 spiritual people. Okay, we all work connection upstairs and everything, because for us, the true meaning is with upstairs, For me, the big internet is there. Not Google, Well, I use Google, I still use Google to talk with you guys, okay? But it goes against my principle. Oh, modern ways, yeah. So we do use lighters now when we don't have those matches, So the good lesson there, So I think the only real truth one person can have, it's with himself or with the divine, So if you lie to you or with your own connection, why are you seeking the truth? Go seek something else, because you're not seeking any truth, So my personal vision is that the truth belongs to each individual. I agree with you, Walking Turtle. My truth when I was 20 and now I'm almost 60, it's totally different, And I used to bang, why it's this way, this way. That was my truth. I told all my employees it has to be this way. Well, later on, I've learned so much that I say, listen, my way is this way, but if you have a better way, show me. If your way is better, we'll take your way. But until then, my truth is the way we do it. Show me otherwise. But some people, even younger than me, showed me that their way was better. I say, gee, I'm happy. I've learned something. I've learned to open to their truth, you know, of their way of doing it was their truth or the better way. So I think by accepting everybody's truth is their way. But uh, some people is going to lie all their life to themselves. Some people is going to take drug, alcohol because they cannot face their own truth or their own relation with themselves or within the creation. So I call them lost souls, you know. But some people are here in this realm at that level. For me, okay, it's based on my life and my experience and the teaching I received. Some people will always stay there because they're not supposed to be on that spiritual level at this time of moment on the planet, you know. So I heard a lot of people that complain about the rich people that don't pay enough taxes or don't do enough. And the middle people, they say, well, the government is screwing us up. And there's the poor people, they say, well, we're being abused and they're victims, you know. But somebody will tell me somebody has to pick up the garbage. It's usually not the rich, you know. You know, so but we need to be challenged on our physical body. Okay, when we're the time we have on Earth. Okay, it's a time to experiment life, live it actually. No, so and learn and make our own connection. And actually, I think the goal of life is to find your self truth, who you are, and what is your connection with other people, with life, with anything that's alive, or Mother Earth, or the Great Spirit. You know, so um, our time on planet Earth is for what I call for the seekers. You know, not for the know-how. You know, everybody thinks they know everything, but you know, there's always something more to learn. You know, you cannot say you know everything on everything. You know, so my personal vision is this: it's the truth belongs to oneself, as nobody can judge your own truth, and we shall not judge. You know, we don't live other people's life. Why one person want to hang themselves when they have a big challenge in life? And why one person is going to say, yeah, I'm going to work 3 times more and to have success? You know, I was the kid that that was always, see, although my relation with my dad was terrible, you know, I've learned to be a fighter, and because I wanted to prove to him my truth, you know. And my truth was, if you work very hard and everything, my goal was to do better than my dad in life, just to show him I was better than him. So it made me who I am. I'm happy about it, you know, but it came out of a negative, you know. But the truth of my dad wasn't, for him, he thought I was crazy, you know. So first business at 12 years old, crazy. I should be outside playing and throwing rocks, you know. So and yeah, so I think it's still part of the big letter. It's air, you know, respect. I respect everybody's truth, you know. Some people don't talk to me because I did not take the vaccine. You know, I only have one brother. He says I'm crazy because of me. I kill people on the planet. I respect his thing, you know. I respect his views, but he has no respect for my view. So his truth is, you don't talk to your family, you don't do nothing, or you go against everybody. Everybody are criminal if they didn't take the shot. I said, you believe in it, take it. You don't believe, don't take it. Stay home. You know, nothing. So if you're talking about breakthrough, a big breakthrough would be if people would start to understand that the truth belongs to you, I guess. You know, it's all depend what you do with it. Then I shut up. I'm gonna mute myself.
Well, that was really good, because when you were talking about sitting in the circle and viewing the feather, that's how we get a complete view of the feather. If we listen to other people's perspective and see how they see things, then we can create a full picture. Doesn't mean my vision has to change, but I can also listen and incorporate other things. You know, the difficulty I have is when people say, this is my truth and you have to change you. And it's like, no. But I can listen to you and learn something. And that's valuable.
Yeah. first of all, being in a circle, there's nobody on top,
Yep.
First teaching, circular life, the will of the will of life, so everything is in circular, is gonna roll, Try to take a triangle, throw it on the floor. Let's see how far you go. You're always gonna be somebody on top, Simple things as native we use to make from the youngest understand when they grow up, just simple teaching like that. But it's good also for people with addiction and everything, So, and like Patrick's gonna use it, he says. So hopefully, if me meeting Patrick just gave him one tool when he teach to make people understand that the views of everybody, your view is ultimately your truth. What you do, what you see becomes your truth because you're doing it. So unless you like, unless you love to lie to yourself,
And that
So,
changes and evolves over time. And well, I know a lot of people who won't change what they see as the truth. It's got to be this way, and they can't change, and they can't grow, and they can't think.
I've been raised by a rock. You never change, but you die unhappy, So,
Well, if we change the feather to, let's say, source is the center of the circle, or creator is the center of the circle, and each of us is a part of that center of the circle, having our own perspective of that experience, then everything that we're having would be true from that unique space, wouldn't it?
the problematic is if it's teaching somebody everything is that we're more visual than anything else,
Yeah.
So,
Oh no,
if you
I love the feather example. What I'm saying is, like earlier, Greg was saying when people, said that my truth is, like, there isn't a my truth. There's just the truth. And so I'm saying, if the truth is creator, source, whatever, that we don't know, but yet each of us is having an expression of that. Each of us are created uniquely to have an experience. So we each have a different experience, and then as we share, we're creating that whole. Then when people are completely on the opposite ends of the scale from where we are, you know that that's just fine, and it's okay that they may not see it that way. They may still think that you're wrong or I'm wrong, but that's just the whole.
I think there's a bit of a perception out there that this is something I've think of often, that it's not possible for you to have your own individual perspective of things, like all of us, because there's billions of us, that it's not possible, but we all do now anyway, right? But what I think of and wonder about is that because we've been so conditioned to think that we need to fit into the boxes of, you need to do it this way and this is what the government says and blah 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 blah, that there's just that programming in us that we're not even aware that we can be individuals and all around the feather and looking at things from different perspectives while we're actually doing it, even though some people are in more harmonious perspective than others, a bit more distorted and all over the shop. But I really think that it's like there's this feeling of how can you even do that? If you honor yourself and what feels your truth, how then can you go about and live that and not have any discord? It's just a listening to people talk, people that I know, conversations is just like, you have to, like, as we've been saying, you have to do it my way. No, my way is right. No, my way is right. It's not. Nothing's right. Nothing's wrong. It's perspective of. But it's just like there's just this little bit of a chink in the thought process of how then can I do the thing that's right for me, that might be completely opposite from someone else, but still be harmonious. But people are doing it now anyway, and it's just like there's this little bit of a gap between here and here. So,
Yeah, I know for me, I have a difficult time still when I had an experience like today where within the space about 5 minutes, there must have been 9 different people coming and comparing notes on all their health ailments and their operations and their replacement surgeries and one one of the dialogues was like, well, they're pulling out another vein out of his leg and they're pulling this one and he's down to 90 pounds and I'm like, okay, that's just their truth, right? That's just their experience. But I could still feel for me about going, what would you want to do that for? Right. And so I know that in situations like that, it's mine. Like it's always mine when I get triggered, right? When I go, what would they be thinking like that for? That it's like, why am I thinking this way? What is bothering me about that they're having their experience? Because like it is about me. It is my perception that something's wrong when they're seeming to be the way they are. But are they ever sick? Really? Are they ever out of whack? Because maybe that's exactly where they need to be. And I think that's like these questions that we look out and we constantly, we're all judging things, and maybe we're doing it far less than we ever did before, but we are assessing, or we're making comment like, what'd you say about Trudeau earlier, Greg? Right? Like it's these comments that we make that are, is that about us being present, or is that the continual breakdown that we're doing right now in the world, is realizing so much of what we talk about is opposite of where we want to be.
For me, COVID was very terrible at the beginning, but actually I find that COVID we're supposed to talk about breakthrough today, so is the theme, but I think that COVID was actually a breakthrough, because a lot of people got to express the truth, and now you see how much division there is, so while Tunya was talking, something funny came to my head. So we always say that it's from down under, but from which point of view? So why is she not
it's
up?
up over. It's up
We could
over.
be down there, but it's just I have a funny guy that tells me a funny thing, but she came in and say, hey, why you guys said she's down under? So sorry, but COVID coming through. I think it did open the eyes of a lot of people, okay, forcing them to look retrospectively into their own person. So maybe it brought a lot of people to start to awaken by seeking their own truth, So it did a lot of separation, but at least we know we stand. And I used to spend a lot of energy to argue with people, at the beginning, because out of love, I was trying to push my truth to other people. Okay, but time told me that my truth is my truth. The one the people in line up to get the shot, they're scared. They're so scared, there's no truth, but that's their truth. So you have to respect that they went this way, So I wish people would respect more the way I went, but some people did, So I say, if you truly love people, you will accept their choice.
Yeah. Well, it's like the boogeyman under the bed when you're a kid, right?
Is there a boogeyman under my bed?
Like, haven't you ever the child that says, oh, there's the boogeyman's under my bed, and the parent looks under and says, no, there's nothing under your bed. But like, maybe there is a boogeyman under the bed for the child, right? Like, that's why they're saying the boogeyman is under the bed. It's very real for them. And so I think
I still have one under my bed.
Well, I'm French. We don't have boogeyman. We have le bonhomme sateur.
I've got dust bunnies.
This 7 p.m. the monster come out, the Sandman come out. So the kids need to be in bed before 7 or else he comes, So,
Yeah. No,
you
I
know,
You
the
know
crap,
how, do you know how often I've heard that? Because my last name is Sandeman, and no one can pronounce it Sandeman. It's Sandman.
Sandman?
And I get that story all the time. Oh yeah, terrible
The
Sandman.
Sandman one? Down under, you get this.
up
Ah,
over.
I thought it was a French thing,
No.
No. I guess the idea to make our children more tame, we have to scare them or somehow.
Well, it's like the work Greg does, Thunder Bear, right? Is in everywhere we went on our little travels, he was very grateful for being able to be that individual that got to be the channel for that energy. Yet he couldn't do that unless there were all these other people that showed up. He can't have an impact on somebody that doesn't want to have any change in their life, right? There has to be somebody willing to step forward and say, sure, I'm open. I would love to receive it. So is one in a better position than the other? Is one more spiritual than the other, or is it just the way it is?
It's just simply people having an experience. That's it.
And we don't know which way is going to go after.
Well, that's up to them, and they have that free will, just like we do, right? So
Yeah.
they can dance with the devil, or they can look for a higher power, and it's like they have that choice.
For a lot of people, the 5 of us are the crazy one, so, but, but that's their truth. In our truth, we're trying to seek people. Well, I think that's it. We're trying to seek people that want to share, I guess, our experience together, It's become a community of seekers that want to do experience the seeking and the enlightenment somehow,
Yes, it helps. Excuse me. I've been thinking about which people get the greatest impact on the work that I do, and I think it's people that, this is just for today. It could be very different in 10 minutes from now, but like I think it's people that have had a certain level of suffering where it's kind of broken them a little bit. They feel a little broken by their suffering, and they want some sort of relief. But someone who actually is just kind of skipping through life, not seemingly to suffer, not having too much going on, I think they would respond a little less. They'd be a little less open because they're not, like the one guy that I worked on a few weeks ago, like he thought he was just going to die. The cancer from the North American medical system said, yeah, basically it's game over. You're going to die. So he hit the wall. Like it was at the end for him, and he was very wide open. Had he went into vision a couple of times when I worked on him, and it was like off the charts for him. It was like crazy nice. And and I just started thinking about that for the last few people that I worked on. It was the same thing. Like if you're just showing up, just hey, someone says you can do energy work, ooh,
right?
And then they want to go express that to someone else about like, wow, that was neat, or whatever. Then I think it'll have less impact. Not necessarily less impact, but the profound impacts are from people who just got to a point in their life where they know inside that suffering isn't the answer anymore, and they want to find some way out of that.
It's funny, Thunder Bear, because I like to think of myself as a open-minded individual, But when you worked on me, I actually just feel a tiny bit while other people are jumping on the chair and everything, So I thought I would get that flash of God coming through me, like explode, you know. I say, oh, I'm so open, you know. So I thought, you know. But somehow also I've learned to protect myself. So I think there is a protection, you know. So I'm not used to go to see other people to receive, you know. I'm used to be the giver, you know, or the
Yes.
guy making the ceremony. So that's probably why we need to work together too. I don't know. Did you ever had other people work on you? Good question.
I've let so few people work on me my whole life,
I'm the same. So, you know, so
but
maybe that, huh?
I have let people. The,
Yeah, okay.
the, the
I've
first
done it
time,
a couple times, and then I told them later. Okay, I did not even ask his permission. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, there's just a block there." That was my story, and I'm sticking with it. Um, but things did change right after that.
Yeah.
years and years ago, when I um, was at some friends of mine had a cottage up north, and they used to have healing retreat weekends. That was part of that story of when I was told I had to wait until someone asked me to work on them. So I waited, like, I don't know, 15 or 16 or 17 years before someone asked me if I'd, come and help them work on it. And it was that event, or one of the events shortly after that um, I decided to let someone work on me. So there's one person working on me. They're all like Reiki people and all this sort of stuff, right? So one person's working on me, and I'm going, oh, not getting anywhere, not getting anywhere. So someone else comes over. There's two of them working on me, and they're going, oh, well, we need more help. So it ended up five people working on me before actually they had a bit of a breakthrough.
So you're a tough cookie. So
I laughed. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yes, and so I should be clear. I didn't work on you. I just called in the resources to work on you. So yeah.
yeah, well, I want to be clear
Wasn't me.
also. I don't want people because the live stream there's other people listening. So I just want to be clear. I don't do eating like Thunder Bear. I don't do any of that. You know, I'm just a part schizophrenic, I think. You know, so I hear little voice and guidance. It's so funny. You know, today I went to a place that they sell coffee and donut there, and I turned to come back. You know, so on my way back, I did maybe like 1,000 feet. Then I turned the car around. I go start to drive the other way. I don't even know why. You know. Then I said, why? Why did I turn around? You know. They say, okay, go get your quotation for this and that and that. You will need it for some of your community. You know. So I speaking, you know, in my head. I said, why do I need that now? I said, just do it. So the last 2 days, instead of doing my work, I've been collecting a quotation for this and that and that. You know. So hopefully I'm not doing it for nothing, but you know, that little voice sometimes, you know. So so I can only share the little voice, the little message sometimes, you know. But do not do eating. It's not my forte, you know. So go see Thunder Bear for that.
But that's just a
He's your
different.
man.
That's just a
Huh?
different perspective of the feather, right? You know what I mean? Like yours is hearing that voice. Someone else is seeing colors, and mine is like I don't get voices as much as I used to get voices, but I just kind of have a knowing. It's just like a knowing shows up for me,
Yeah.
and
No,
it's learning to
sometimes it's
trust.
just a feeling that makes you do something,
Yes.
but often it's the voice for me, you know. So and I ask them when I do ceremony to please stop make me crying because I'm, you know, when they come in, tears come down, you know. I don't know why. You know, then the last one we did, we find out, you know. So uh, I feel the emotion, you know. So there's a lot happen on the land, and my grandfather, every time he would talk to the family, he would cry. He would never finish what he had to say, you know. So when I connect, you know, so I still have some of his DNA. When I connect, it give me a strong feeling. Then tears come down. I can't control that, you know. So if there's no fear, is there's no tears, I know they're not there, you know. So in ceremony, in front of everybody. Oh, tough construction guy cries every time you do a ceremony. You know,
I can relate.
yeah, you can relate to that. You have that feeling.
Yeah.
To the construction part or the crying part?
Every night for that whole week out east, I cried every time, and I'd start out going, okay, that's it. I'm not going to do it this time. I'm not going to cry.
Ah,
Get in
okay.
there, and I would start out like I'm being strong, and then all of a sudden, leak. Oh, here we go.
After a ceremony.
That was the connecting. So many felt though that was your humility, and that was the connecting part, right? So it's that breakdown, right? When you break down the exterior of what people perceive is going to happen, it that's the type of stuff that opens their heart, and that's what I think has been. That's all I see that's going on in the planet. There is just a wide open breakdown of everything, of people's perceptions. And some people, sure, are still stuck with things, or like I was earlier today, kind of stuck on, well, do something else. But we're all seeing things. Everybody's seeing things differently. And in that breakdown of everything, there's breakthroughs, because that's all there can be, isn't right?
I live in a continual breakthrough because I still get up in the morning and can't believe what God has gifted me with. Every single day I get up and it's like that's actually happening to me. Whoa. It freaks me. It doesn't freak me out, but like I'm still just amazed by it. Just like there's not even words for it. And every single morning I wake up and it's like that is just the coolest thing. I feel so fortunate. And I hope that never goes away because I don't want to ever get to the point of, you know, well,
Well, didn't you ever have a time during your years where you were like, why me? Couldn't I just be normal?
oh, that too. And before I realized the extent of what the gift was, I kind of misused it a bunch too. Absolutely misused it.
Guilty.
Well, that's the only way you actually get to know how to use anything. Is you use it and you misuse it and you go, ooh, shouldn't do that again. Like,
You have to know where the line is.
absolutely. I don't
And
trust those people who say, well, I've never misused my power. It's like, oh, then I don't trust you because you don't know what it does on the other side, or you're lying. One of the two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It helps me clearly define the feelings on both sides of that equation, good, bad, and indifferent. And I know where, not exactly where I have to be, but I know where I can't go.
Yeah.
From those experiences. So, you know, there's a few people I would like to kind of run into again one day and just give them a hug and apologize.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Kristen laughs. We went to my high school reunion, and all she said as I walked around apologizing to my teachers. Which I did actually.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, that too is
sorry.
about, but that too is about being authentic and honest and saying, yeah, Jesus, I did that. I screwed up. And that's all part of that learning and that authentic approach to what experience actually is, as opposed to, crapping rose petals and having the wind blow your hair perfectly every time,
A professional rose petal thrower.
Exactly.
Well, I've made my apologies on my first fasting, native fasting. You spend 4 days in the wood without water and without food, keeping your little fire alive there, and just in prayers for 4 days. So when I hit the south door, so that's the mothers and the grandmothers, the feminine side. then I cried for so long. I cried all day. So I actually felt what I had done to some of the ladies that were in love with me or that come my path, So so I felt how it was, It's, I was kind of a player for some time, So so I felt all the, I guess, the damaging. So I was sorry for all day making excuses, crying and making excuses, but I felt all the pain and suffering, So
Yeah.
when you're young, there you don't think that your action would hurt so deeply, the feminine side, But women kind of, I don't want to generalize, but usually they fall in love easier than men, I guess, when you're young, So, so I had to learn how strong the women are, but because their feelings are so strong, So on that door, it was my first actually fasting. So I've learned a lot in that fasting, but the power of the woman, they're very strong, So they're stronger than the men actually spiritually, most of the time. So and that's why they're more affected, So if you, I guess, cheat on them or tell them you love them, but you just want them for something else, So I think it's part of a young man learning the curve of having fun when you're young, but it's when you're older and you go through that you actually experience that you did create pain, not always consciously, but we didn't give a damn when we were so young, We just wanted to put notch on our belt, So, but it's good because I taught my son not to. And then that the notch on the belt are not so important. The respect for the woman side is very strong. It's very important. So I'm happy that I had that to share with my son. A lot of slap for one full day, but So I love so much the native teaching, man. Should be mandatory in most of the school. The basic. So that and gardening and taking care of yourself, respect, love, and sharing. You know, maybe we should start a school of that. Love and respect.
Well, there
What
are
do you think?
there are sort of teachings out there already with some
Yeah,
of that stuff, like the most prominent, I think, connection with the land and stuff this after native would be that I encountered would be Steiner in the Waldorf schools. There's forest schools now, things like that they've started out, in terms of bringing it back to connection with the land
good.
and knowing that you're a spiritual being having a human experience.
Well, going to the breakthrough, I think that part of growing up as a man is, I think the breakthrough is not. I think I kind of did part of my life lying to myself, as a young man, So I thought I was that smart, that construction guy that was so good, blah blah blah, that was smarter than the other, was doing very well financially, and blah blah blah. So, I thought I was higher up than other people. So the breakthrough came then when I started my native journey to learn that all of that has zero value, because I was not happy at all in my past life, you know. For me, my spiritual quest is what brought me happiness, So gardening and taking care of a couple of chicken there makes me more happy than going on a cruise. So for me, it's a breakthrough that I realized that somehow maybe I was not living the life I was meant to, but that was then also. So I guess a breakthrough is to understand that evolving as a human will bring the change, but will bring the necessary change for a person to go where they're supposed to go. So for me, it was kind of a breakthrough. I said, I'm free of all my toys, my big house, and all of that. I'm free. You know. I stop and I go see two ducks just going bloop, bloop, bloop in the water for half an hour. Feel all resource. I don't know. I have a love for ducks, So when I see ducks, I stop. I look at them. I like when they're full of colors. I always think, oh, the creator made such beautiful birds. So everything that's done is like so precise, colorful or you know.
Yeah, it's awe-inspiring. So what would be the story of breakdown to breakthrough for you, Tanya, right now, looking at the world?
Good question. I don't know how to answer that. um, yeah, I don't know how to answer that. When I think of breakdown to breakthrough, my experiences, how I've felt, and listening to everyone talking about their, like how they were, like Eastern Eagle, talking about how as a younger person, this is how he felt, and blah blah blah. I felt that a lot of my perspective at that time was based on not knowing how to act. And I see that in a lot of people because there's not been that, like we can sit here now and have this discussion coming from our from our spirit and our connection to and how we feel in a more balanced way than, say, if I was younger or whatever used to experience, right? So my perspective then was that not so much that I felt that I was right and everyone else was wrong or anything like that. It was more of, I don't know how to be, so I'm going to adopt things that I was comfortable with, even if I might have in some part of my awareness kind of gone like, this is rubbish, this is this is not how it is, sort of thing. So coming from that, like thinking back on how I was there to now, and my experiences with my breakdown and my breakthrough to this point is it's been a really bloody journey. I feel from the things that I've let go of, and I really value that. And I wonder now, like thinking about how, like the world in mass with everyone, and we're talking about breakdown to breakthrough is there seems to be this bit of a wonder in me and a bit of a curiosity of how it's going to look, I guess, because there's listening to, there was a little bit of this perception come up in my thinking, and I went like, oh, interesting, that my thought process is like, if everyone's breaking down and they've come to their breakthroughs and everything's wonderful, then does that mean that everyone is like shiny, sparkly, happy, walking around doing all of this? We're all in alignment and it's all roses and everyone agrees with the same thing. And it's like, no. So then that then was making me think about to what level is a breakdown into a breakthrough. They're not all the same. So my curiosity is that there are still going to be people who are at different levels that might be still having, like, I'll say ratty life experiences, but they're still going through their breakthroughs, right? How is it going to be? I'm curious. I'm a curious person. How is it going to look? How is it going to be? How is it going to change things from the way that we're experiencing now? Because we can see that there's all these systems in place and beliefs and processes that are breaking down worldwide, and it's just, how's it going to be? I just want to know how it's going to be. I'm curious. So I don't know if I really answered your question, but that's just what I'm feeling into it. How it, yeah.
It for sure won't look like it did yesterday.
No, and it won't look like it is tomorrow either, and it's never going to be. So it's like I'm just there is my curiosity, there's excitement because I look forward to what new things will come about, how things will expand in different ways, and that's a lovely feeling to not be in a place of traumatized. Holy shit, what's going to happen tomorrow? I can't deal with it. Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but if someone told all of you what you would have to go through in your life to get to where you are right now, would you have signed up for the journey and said, "Yeah, baby, let's go"?
Most people, when they say yeah, are full of shit.
My thinking was like, if I was standing in spirit and I was going like, and I was like, I'm standing there and they're going like, this is what you're going to pick this lifetime. I'd probably go, yeah, no worries, yeah, it's great. But like in now in a physical body, I'd probably go like, no, I don't really want a lot of the stuff, and I would like to change a lot of the things that I did in the past. But then that's just whole heaping a lot of judgment on myself, and I can't do anything to change the past, can I? So while I would not say I'd like to choose to do that, I do value the experience of it anyway, because I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you, any of you, now.
I'd like to say that knowing what I know now, I may have maybe I would choose other path. But I have zero regret of anything I did in my life because when it was bad, I had to deal with it and learn from it and grow from it. When it's good, I say, my vision in life is about that. When it's bad, you gotta know and find a solution, know why it went bad, and experience what it does. And when it goes well, I say I put every time it goes too well, I say, oh wow, today everything worked. I say I put happiness in bank. I have a virtual bank in my head. So when things are too bad, I say, oh, okay, I'm gonna take today. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of the good part, put in that day to make the day a bit. So for me, I might be full of shit on the way, but I have zero regret because exactly we are here talking to each other because we are the sum of all our experience, the good one and the bad one. It made us who we are, and actually learn to love myself as who I am with age. It took a long time for that. So, and if other people don't love me, it's their problem, not mine. So, so I'll find somebody to love me and accept me the way I am with my own truth. And that starts by respecting their own truth. So.
I think it falls into a lot of like what you say too, Jacqueline, is I don't know what I don't know, because for all I know, the things that I've criticized, that I might have criticized myself for in the past that I've done, have potentially been a catalyst experience for someone else, and where I'm thinking that I've been horrible or I've said something that I shouldn't have, and I'm overly judgmental of myself. It may have been what was needed at that time, and I don't know that. So, any more than the person that someone who's said something that has caused some response in me that's not been quite pleasant. It is what it is. I don't know what I don't know.
It's funny because some people told me, "Oh, you're the chief. You should learn to swear less, and not be so upfront, not tell you truth the way, no more time." I say, hey, if people are coming and they don't want it, they can stay home, simple as that. So I said, I don't care. I said, it's free. We don't charge nothing. We do it out of goodness and because we feel we have a job to do, so if people are not happy or just, you can mute me too, huh? Walking turtle, you can mute me if you don't like the way I say, just mute. It's a free will, so it's so funny sometimes.
Well, I think if everybody just learned to share their own personal experiences, right?
Mm.
And you do so because it's it's my personal experience, and this is what I interpreted. This was my perception. This was what I thought I did wrong, and then I realized, well, you can't change it. Like if the world communicated like that with personal responsibility and respected where everybody else came from, the conversations would be completely different.
Depends on where the corporate funding goes.
We'd be like Thunder Bear and Just Joan, just sitting there going,
Well, we're not there to try to be guru or God or Jesus Christ. We're there to do what we feel that we're inclined to do in life, and hopefully help our brothers and sisters around us. Our intentions are good. We want to share the goodness, or we want to share. Actually, I think it only become to even Thunder Bear is sharing his gift that he received. So I guess it's just to share. You must feel like you have a job to do sometime, Thunder Bear, no?
Oh yeah, every day.
It's a calling. So, but you're not gonna go in the middle of the street and look at people that look sick and say, "You come here," So, maybe you do. But I sometimes I go in the middle of a crowd. I say, "You come here." I say, "I got a message for you." But it's not my choosing. Somebody makes me do that. But I'm not eating them. But I said it's actually funny because I don't want to take myself too seriously. I say I don't have a gift. I have zero gift. I say I just have little antennas, and most of the time they play tricks on me. So, but if a person just want to share some basic teaching of native, I'm more than happy just to share. That's it. And I'm only gonna share what I was allowed to share. So and again, we're not superhero, but we're not super villain. We're in
Yes.
between. So
Don't
I don't think it's a role to try to so I've heard that a few times. Like I said, you shouldn't swear so much. You have a big job. You represent us. Blah blah blah. I say, hey, go elect another guy if you don't want that guy. So do the ceremonies. I'll do mine for myself. I do them for me too. Nobody does it for me, so I do my own ceremony. So I love when Thunder Bear comes. I can pass. Hey, I can experience what another person does. It's fun. Doing the ceremony, you do them, but you do them for others. So so I miss my elder because he was giving it to me, but while teaching.
What was his name again?
Foot Guy Frigon.
Okay.
But Foot.
I have trouble remembering that.
Problem with names, but the two trace of a foot there, foot. It's tattooed on my arm.
The way I remember it is Sabe is like really Bigfoot, and instead of Bigfoot is just a double foot for Danny. It's a foot.
I don't know. Sabe is the son of.
Which is like Bigfoot in translation. Sabe.
Is he still teaching you, Thunder Bear, or
No?
No? So the dad was teaching you?
No.
No? It wasn't a teaching. What was it? Guidance or?
His dad tolerated me.
Okay. Well, you end up with a pipe, a secret pipe. So by tolerating you, he awarded you with a pipe, huh?
All his father ever said to me, like this is the most he ever said to me, he says, "Why are you asking me?" He says, "You ask, they'll tell you. You know how to listen. Ask them, they'll tell you." That's all he ever said to me, ever.
Oh yeah. Okay. Ever. Well, I thought he was under your wing.
No.
Well, I came in late, in my native journey, so I had to be taught the basic. And Foot died, but he gave me the basic so I can share the basic. So I guess
So I'm going to ask Thunder Bear. Is there
I
anything
know
you
you
want
were
to
waiting.
share about today, Thunder Bear?
About today?
About today.
What happened today?
I don't know.
Oh,
Just
okay.
ask him.
Well, I just wanted to say about the gift for me, Danny. Like I knew at a really young age that it did not belong to me. It comes through me, but it belongs to the people. It belongs to everybody. Um, and I've always known that, and that's why, like I worked at a doctor's office years ago, and I could never really make my rent because I didn't, people could pay me, but I never asked for money, and that's still the same. Like if people want to give me money, I'll take the money, but it's never you have to pay me. There's never any of that ever because the gift it belongs to it. It's like if I'm working on you, it belongs to you. So how can I charge you money for it? It's kind of backwards concept. So today,
Okay.
I don't know, just another day. I ate a lot of sawdust at work today.
It's stuck in your beard, eh? It's growing, eh?
Well, it does that on its own. I just stopped shaving it.
Okay. It's an option.
I have that. I haven't sat down to have a conversation with Kevin yet because he got back and he's super busy at work. But I asked him how he was feeling. He said he's feeling just wonderful. And the one kid that works for him, he was telling a friend of his about it, and his friend's going, "I want to go see him. I want to go see him." He calls it magic. He wants to experience the magic. And I started laughing. It's like, well, sure, send him over. So I don't know when that's going to be. And then the kid that he actually worked for me for a bit, he was going, "Yeah, I want to come too." And I said, "Well, you know where I live. You know I'm here every day. Why don't you just stop in?" "Well, I'm kind of busy, you know." So he's avoiding it. There's something he doesn't want to look at just yet. But I find that kind of funny.
Good. So do you have the airline ticket booked?
No, we were looking at a bunch, but
Okay.
I'll probably do that later tonight.
Well, hold on. So are you heading out to Montreal tomorrow, Danny?
Not decided yet. I need one more answer.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm not going to London. But I don't think so. It's going to be 2-3 weeks before I go to London.
So coming
Show me around, and I went to the land there. It's dry enough. We can, Thunder Bear and I, we can have a little time together with the where we usually do our sweat lodge.
Yeah, well, that would be lovely. And I kind of had a thought that came to me was when you said that you had to see Kevin 3 times, that
Yeah?
maybe that would be the same sort of thing as you guys spend some time, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, people could come and go instead of just and we'll see you a couple times, but not like all at once.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens when everything is settled. I think it's premature to plan things now because it's going to change no matter what.
Yes. Well, reason I ask is because I have felt a void. So I was like, the other couple of days, I was like, yes, this needs to happen, and now I'm just kind of like, So I was wondering what was going on.
I thought it was because you were single now. The void. Audience, I'm never serious. I joke a lot.
There you go. We're gonna stop that conversation right at the moment here.
I'm a bad Frenchman too, so I'm a mixer.
I texted Greg yesterday and I said, okay, X and Y are here. I'm just not naming names. And I said, and all I'm going to say today over and over in my head is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. I missed the courage to change that. Yes.
And how did that go?
It worked really well, actually. I just went, and then I just got directed to do my own stuff, and it was good. And today I basically let them do their stuff and arrive later on, and yeah.
May I ask you?
It was a different experience, and it worked, I think, for everybody. And I think they might have had some male bonding going on between the two of them, which was great.
Did you feel any difference in your little house since the last time we talked about the tree of life being true, past true, being accepted on the land?
Well, I kind of felt like that, like from the time that I picked this spot, right, or I felt guided to this spot, and what I'm really seeing now is this new life sprouting up from the ground, and so all these little seedlings from a lot of the trees is what I'm noticing. We just did turn over a great part of the trunk that had been and I feel like that has something to speak to me later. Like I just noticed it. They did that, and I noticed it just before we came on this call, and I felt like I had to have a conversation. Yeah, we had to have a conversation with the dead tree stump. Okay, you're your spirits, and I'm talking to dead stumps. Okay.
It's filled with life, probably just as much as it was when it was something you could see.
Yeah, well, that's what it feels like. I had a beautiful hare stop, like a hare, like a rabbit, stopped by the other day. Like I was driving in, and it let me drive in, and I sat on one end of the driveway, and it was on the other, and we had a little conversation, and I saw 3 bears in the distance today, very much in the distance. Like I would have thought they were wood piles, but then they moved. No, just
Your hair is here.
there you go.
I got a hair tattooed on my wrist.
There you go.
But it looks like an X-ray. That's why it's so dark. You only see the bones and the shape. You know? I'll explain to you why I got that there eventually.
Okay, stay
know?
tuned, everybody. You've got to come over to Miscue Island to find out the answers.
Well, one quick one. The hares are the keeper of the secret of the forest.
Are they?
Yeah, they're the keeper of the secret of the forest. They're all over. They see everything, but they're the one that keeps the secret in the forest.
And what do you mean by the secret of the forest, though?
That's what I got through meditation.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. Yeah, you have go make friend with the hare and ask him, not me.
Okay. I'll ask the next time. I didn't know we're there. You go.
It's tattooed that. You know. Do we have 5 minutes? I can. I did so much, so I can share part of my my fasting. You know, so because I smudge, I can share with you guys what it is. It's my first fasting. The first day I installed myself, I had a little tent, I had my fire, but they were a big boulder. So I installed everything. I prepared. I made my 12 foot of a tobacco ring around my circle to protect myself from animals, blah blah blah. So as soon as I went into the tent there, I lay down, you know, because it started to rain a bit, and I heard something, and it touched my head through the tent. I said, "Oh my God! I hope it's not a skunk. You know, it's gonna skunk me for 4 days for my first thing. I'm gonna have a big challenge. You know." Then I opened the zipper. It's the hair. But every time I would go into the tent, I would unzip slowly. The hair would be on that boulder looking at me. You know, and it's not a usual thing. But as soon as I opened, then it drop up. Then you would run around the circle of tobacco around around my circle, around the 12 foot. And when I go back, I feed my, you know, because sometimes we snooze in between the prayer there. So every time I would go, the air was there. So I did ask that elder, foot. I said, who was why that air was there? He said, meditate on it. Seek your own answer. So I was in the middle of the meditation. The hairs is the keeper, the secret of the forest. So I'm so happy I got my answer. So I call my elders. I said, I have my answer. He says, come see me. I tell him, I say, he's the keeper of the sick. He said, yes. He said, he is. But I said, it's it's not the reason he was there. He said, go back mid-state again. So he would never give me something easy. Mid-state, mid-state, mid-state. Maybe for 1 year. Still no answer why he was there. You know? Then my elder died, and I got another elder, the one that actually granted me the role of Mi'kmaq chief, traditional Mi'kmaq chief on the island, and that guy was leaving for Philippines to meet his girlfriend, So he said, before I go, he said, I'll tell you what the air means to you. I said, yeah. He said, you made state for almost 1 year, you still don't get it, you know. I said, no. I said, I just can't get it. I'm too busy. He said, you got your answer. He said, a hare is going to run. If he's going to run in a circle, if he's scared, he's going to run until his heart blew out and he dies. He said, Danny, he said, your life, you're doing so much. You work like 80 hours a week. You're always turning. He said, your hair is there. It's you. It represents you. So it's you. The hair is you. You're way over the place. You're turning like so much in circle instead of concentrating in your life where you should do. You're doing way too much in concentrate. So that one also, I was told that uh, doing the healing part was not my job. Because I said, yes, I wish I could. He said, no, that's you being a heir. I said, concentrate your community, your traditional, everything, your own awareness of yourself and everything that you're gonna go. So I said, your air is gonna kill you, you know. So he said, imagine that your air there is your death. He said, you need to think of the air every time you see you're doing too much. So think of the air; he's gonna die turning circle. So every time I feel I'm tired, I look, yeah, okay, I said, I'll end up like him. So he's there to a reminder to stop trying to take too much on. That's it.
The hair is good at multitasking.
Yeah, well, he was good at doing this many times in the little split second variation.
I was gonna say, it's here today, gone tomorrow. No, just there you go.
Yeah, so I guess we're boring because Joanne is yawning at my
No,
story.
no, no. I had a long day today.
No,
I had a very
no,
long day.
it just is funny that she brought the hair. So, walking turtle, when you see the hair, talk to him.
Yeah,
Ask him,
I see. My hair wasn't moving. My hair was just sitting at the driveway, munching, and I was like,
talk to him. Ask him the secret. He knows your name. He knows
"See,
everything.
yeah."
Mm.
It's like Cheers, right? Everybody knows your name. That's what you're telling me. They all know who I am in Forest. No, just I did. I mean, I've had a lot of conversations here. Like when I came, it was like, um, which is really funny for people that are listening and going, "You're talking to the forest, right? You're talking to the land. It's all a part of me. Great spirits in me and all around me." In that sense. So it's a different connection for me, and I think I've shared this. I know with Eastern Eagle and Thunder Bear is that for me, spirit used to be like above, right? Spirit was above everything in the heavens. It was above, and all the spirits and the angels, they're all above. And this concept now of like with native teachings and coming back to the land, it's very much, it makes sense that Thunder Bear said like the turtle was the slowest animal on the land, and then that would be my spirit name because I was like the least or the most resistant. I mean, the last thing I wanted to do was to really get grounded on the earth because it just seemed like a place I didn't want to be. And so now to experience as if the land is speaking to me and spirit is coming from the land, like when we did the smudge, it it's it's very different, but it's very powerful, and it's I don't I, like it's just different. So it's like the land, like the mother is really, I'm really recognizing all this energy that's in me and around me and discerning it differently than just going, oh, my angel from above is having a conversation or whatever. So that's the best I can explain it. It's just a really different experience for me, and it's really helped me get rid of a lot of my fear about land and nature.
It makes me think. I I can't comprehend. I cannot even conceive of the thought of not feeling some connection to land and nature and animals at all. It's really. I wouldn't even know where to begin to think what it would be like to be disconnected in that way. Because from birth we were taught and raised that there is, and it's sort of, it feels a little bit arrogant for me. It would be a bit arrogant for me to think that I and we as human beings are the only intelligence on the planet, but there is so much more, and there is just, yeah, there's not a day that I don't go by and talk to my plants and my trees and go, I love you. You're so beautiful. Thank you for doing this. And or the birds, oh, you're so beautiful. You know, it's just, I cannot conceive of not feeling that connection in some way. I would think I would be very, very empty without having some connection like that. So, yeah. And now I'll mute myself.
Well, it's a good thing that we were told not to do the healing, Danny, not in a bad way, but I happen to know a guy that can help.
I don't follow that.
I'd be more than happy to help do healing wherever you need it.
Okay, to come and do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, not helping me try to do it. No. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's part of. I think sometimes you. Well, I don't think. I don't believe that there's a hazard in life. So when life puts when you meet somebody in life, there's a reason. So I think we'll find a reason when we spend a couple hours together too. So maybe my people need healing through you. Maybe some of you people need some thing from me. I don't know. We'll see. I don't have a clue what's coming. I just know that we're supposed to meet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have the same feeling or.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So. So we were two pipe carrier not using our pipe enough, So. So it's about time we start to do something. Walking turtles is every time she says that there's something strong coming in.
It's that time. I'm so glad we have this time together. No.
Oh, I thought it because it's the time we pass our 1 hour thing there.
No, it is time for the two of you. It's just time, whatever that means. Who knows?
No.
I certainly am looking forward to it, to see what unfolds. It's a magical time.
I don't put any expectation. I will.
Oh, I have an expectation. I have an expectation that the world is gonna shift and volcanoes are gonna erupt and lights are gonna go off and then I'll be like, oh, nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, for sure we're not going to the bar, get drunk, and play pool. That's what we're so not on that end here, So I don't even know if we're doing it here, over there. Well, we'll all figure it out as it unfolds.
There you go.
I guess a great spirit will make us do what we're supposed to do together.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Hey, I don't know if Thunderbird has something for me when you come, or I don't know if it's me that has something. We'll see. We'll see what plays out. Only thing I know is we're gonna bring the two pipe together, some feathers, some tobacco, and some sage.
Okay.
And we'll be on a sacred land though.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're supposed to be. I said that to Jacqueline. I think we got to do it up there. So
Yeah, me too. We did the last smudge I did with people around was with Jacqueline and my mother at the Babineau Fall. It's a nice spot though, you know. It's very strong and everything, but there's a lot of people coming through. So our time alone is going to be probably on our land, our sacred land, you know, because you'll see there were a lot of ceremonies that there, you know. So there's a good, there's a strong vibration on that land, you know. So we've been keeping it together for this. It's land we took, it's crown land that we took back, you know. And this summer is the 6 years that we care for the land and everything. So mm,
So it's your land that the crown pretended that they had, and they got bought into that was their land, but it was
yeah,
never their land because
I
they're
will, I will show you the letter I wrote to the government. You'll understand
yes. Oh
the
yeah.
so-called crown land. Mm.
So these are some of the breakdowns that we're starting to discover, the breakdowns of the lies that we've been told. And on that note, I'm just going to suggest that Greg do your Greg mojo magic, and let us be open to receive whatever it is each of us needs, and call it an evening. How's that?
yep.
Well, yak on set, no,
No, yes.
Oh.